Alright, so today I'm going to be talking about a film called...
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood.
This film came out in like 2019, so it's quite old topic, but I'm going to still do it anyway because I really like the film and I've only recently watched it. So, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood was the original series' name, which had over 30 seasons, which is quite a lot for a show that was brought out in 1968. So, as I just said, this show went on from 19th of February 1968 till the final episode, which was on August 31st, 2001. But enough about Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. Let's talk about A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, which was the Rogers biography in 2019. This film's concept was so crazy. It starts off with a man named Lloyd Vogel, who's a newspaper critic, and he makes really bad reviews about many people criticizing them, and no one wants to be interviewed by them, but Mr. Rogers does. And throughout the interviews, Lloyd and Fred Rogers both get to know each other really well and gain a closer bond. This bond that Fred and Lloyd have created make Lloyd feel better and help him tackle the issues with his father. Oh yeah, did I mention, him and his father don't like each other. After all this, Lloyd makes up with his father, Fred and Lloyd continue to be friends, and Fred continues with the show. I'll let you watch the film for yourself, I'm not going to spoil the whole thing if you haven't already watched it. Okay, so now I want to talk about Mr. Rogers as a character and as a person. So, in one of Lloyd's first interviews with Fred, he asks what's the difference between him as a character on stage and him in real life.
What about Mr. Rogers? Is he a hero?
To which Fred responds, I don't know what you mean by that question.
I don't understand the question.
So from this we get that Fred isn't actually playing a character on stage, he's simply just being himself, and we get to see that there's no difference between TV Fred and real Fred.
Well, there's you, Fred, and then there's the character you play, Mr. Rogers.
Later on in the film, Lloyd asks Fred, where does he keep all his anger? Where does he release it? To this, Fred responds, anger can be dealt with in many different ways. He goes swimming, he plays the piano, he plays all the keys at once. And it's not how you deal with the anger, it's what you do with the anger, which makes the difference. From this, us as an audience start to connect with Fred, as he's someone that everyone would love to be around. And to summarise it, the only difference between him on a show and him in real life is his small amounts of anger, which is just eased off by playing keys on a piano. So I'm going to read you a quote now from the real Fred Rogers. Human beings are not born with self-control. We have to learn what to do with the mad that we feel. Learning to control ourselves is a long and hard process. It happens little by little. In fact, it's something we work on throughout our lives. The producers getting Tom Hanks to play the role of Fred Rogers was the best thing they could have done for this film. I couldn't think of any other person that could portray Fred Rogers in the way that Tom Hanks does. And you can see by putting clips side by side of the film and the TV series in 1960s is just uncanny. For the 1 hour and 49 minutes that this film's on for, we do see a really big picture of the characters Fred Rogers, Lloyd, and his dad Jerry, including a whole load of side characters, such as Andrea, Lloyd's wife, Todd, Lloyd's cousin, Joanne, Fred's wife. There's a whole lot, and they're smoothly implemented and really good features. Tom Hanks was interviewed a lot for this film, and at first he didn't even want to do the film, but he was convinced by one of the creators and got the real Fred Rogers' wife's approval, which was a really lovely thing for her to do. And now, yes, I know, the part you've all been waiting for. The thing you clicked on this video for, the ending of A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood explained. But before we get into that, can I just say, only 50% of people have subscribed. That's like a whole million of you that aren't subscribed. So if that's you, please subscribe. It's free, of course, and you can unsubscribe anytime you want. Because, you know, this isn't my usual type of video. I'm normally off gaming or something like that. Okay, I'll stop now. So now I'm going to show you a small clip of the ending to A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood. It's only a small clip because I really don't want to get the copyright strike. Okay, so what's happening now is Fred's just finished an episode of his show, literally like 30 seconds ago. He went over to a piano and he sat down, and all the workers are leaving for the night. Then he starts to play the piano, a slow melody. The melody sounds fine, he gets it perfectly right, and then... You see, what I think this means is that even though Fred's doing everything right, he still has a bit of anger, because he doesn't let his anger out often. But even after that anger's gone, he still continues and tries better, which we can see from when he starts to play a better melody the second time. Anyway, that's going to do it for this video. If you haven't watched this film and you've just been watching my video, I really consider go watching this film. It is so good. I watched it on Sky Cinema if you have that, or you can buy it on YouTube, I think, if you just type in the name. This isn't sponsored. I just really recommend checking out the film. And I really did enjoy making this type of video, so if you want more like this, just leave a comment, say, yes Kieran, I would like more of this type of video please. But if you don't really care and just like the content I make, just say in the comments, I love Fred Rogers to Kieran. Okay, more videos on the way, I'll see you next time.